and this is my defensive instruction for a lesson plan I created and taught on the order of operations. The following is a set of slides that provide some background information about the group of students I worked with, their academic goals, student evidence, and assessments that served as data to inform me as their instructor how to properly adapt lesson plans and active practices during my time in the classroom. The class I taught was an Integrated Mathematics 1 course. The class numbers 15 students. The majority of the students were 9th graders, and all were designated or are designated below level. The student schedule is that of a block schedule, and as you see, they meet 3 times a week with 2 classes meeting for a 90-minute block each day. For this lesson, the academic goals were aligned with the State of California's Common Core Standards for Math Content that covers order of operations. As you may know, though a high school level class, we are looking at a 6th grade content standard for this lesson, as it serves as a review for students as we move forward in the unit. What follows is the evidence of students working to meet that goal and standard for math practice. The 2 days of lesson were structured similarly. Do nows, mini lectures, and active practices with the unit test given on the final day of instruction. Adjustments were made as I planned from one day to the next, and as I received student data and teacher input that informed me as to how to improve on active practices for this group of students. First, we'll begin with the Do Now activity, particularly the first problem highlighted here. Some students grasped it quickly, while others did not. This was made clear when I asked for assistance on the overhead to complete the problem. Though the student assisting was correct in his response, the class in general was a bit lost, demonstrated by the thumbs down gesture when asked if they got the same answer. Thumbs were also down when asked if they understood the process. This was okay and expected as it was the initial exercise and the Do Now was meant to be an initial assessment. Instruction in the form of a mini lecture followed, and we proceeded to an order of operations worksheet. This was a worksheet given, and similar to the Do Now, some students were still challenged by the parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, or PEMDAS process. Student evidence provided shows that. As the period concluded, we closed out the day's lesson with an exit slip with similar PEMDAS problems. The first day's lesson provided much in the way of formative assessments and demonstrated to me the importance of using that evidence to differentiate instruction for the next lesson. With feedback from students and suggestions from the teacher of record, I'd like to incorporate more active practices that would break some of the monotony that my first day's lesson employed. I included in my adjusted lesson plans a game on the order of operations. For Gardner, this can be done by way of playing cards, but for us it was a pseudo board game. Students completed an additional practice worksheet and demonstrated improvement from day 1 on their understanding of PEMDAS. Also beneficial was utilizing the whiteboard activity, not as an individual activity, but as a teaming, active learning activity that Reiser and Butz improved to improve instruction. Students were engaged and challenged and offered an active assessment for me to either review any material covered, make on-the-spot corrections, or feel comfortable proceeding because students were showing an understanding of the content. Progress was evident in the unit assessment, where 80% of students passed. As a current non-practitioner, I identified what would have been the next measurable goal for students. And importantly, took from this exercise that the processing of data, assessing, and changing classroom practice, as William points out, can improve student engagement and learning. Particularly for me as an instructor, this activity was significant in my training as I'm learning to be responsive not only during lessons, but adjust and accommodate accordingly to meet students' needs.